Welcome back to Short Times. Today, I will be recapping the movie called Where the Crawdads Sing. Spoilers ahead. Relax and enjoy. The story takes place in North Carolina. On October 30th, 1969, two boys were riding their bicycles through the woods when they stumbled upon a marsh. They discovered the lifeless body of a young man named Chase Andrews. The boys quickly contacted the authorities, and soon after, Sheriff Jackson and Deputy Purdue arrived at the scene. The law enforcement officers observed that Chase fell from a high tower and were unsure if he accidentally fell through a broken hatch door or if someone intentionally pushed him. In the town, the news of Chase's death spreads quickly, and many people start to point fingers at the Marsh Girl, a young woman named Catherine Danielle Clark, also known as Kaya. Kaya becomes aware that people are searching for her and tries to escape. However, while she is making her getaway, Jackson and other law enforcement officers ride by the swamp and catch her. Following her arrest, Kaya is taken into custody, where she meets a lawyer named Tom Milton. Tom explains to Kaya that in order to help her, he needs to understand who she is and what her life has been like. Despite her initial reticence, Kaya begins to open up and shares her story with Tom before he leaves. Kaya opened up. As a young girl in 1952, she lived with her abusive pa, played by Garrett Dillahunt, and her ma, older siblings Murph, Mandy, Missy, and Jody, Adeline Whittle, Emma Willoughby, and Will Bundon, respectively. Unable to bear the abuse any longer, the family members begin to leave home, starting with Ma, and Kaya soon follows her. Over time, Murph, Mandy, and Missy leave as well, leaving only Kaya and Jody behind. Before leaving, Jody tells Kaya to go where the Crawdads sing if she ever needs to escape. However, Kaya decides to stay behind, hoping that her ma will return. As Kaya struggles to survive in the marsh, she spends time with her father fishing, a few moments where he is not abusive to her. During one of their fishing trips, he gives her a knapsack, and Kaya starts collecting seashells and feathers. In the nearby marsh, Kaya meets Tate Walker, who is kind to her and becomes her friend. Kaya's visits to the town are rare, and the only people who are nice to her are shopkeeper Jimmy Madison and his wife Mabel. Mabel gives Kaya new clothes and encourages her to attend school. Despite Mabel's encouragement, Kaya faces bullying and discrimination from other children due to her dirty and unkempt appearance. She runs away and never returns. Back home, Kaya finds a letter in the mail from her ma, but her pa takes it, reads it, and burns it, preventing Kaya from reading it. Kaya's father continues to drink and ultimately abandons her, leaving her alone in the house. In the present day, the lawyer representing the Andrews family attempts to vilify Kaya, despite the lack of concrete evidence linking her to Chase's death. Kaya faces public scrutiny and rumors about her character, but Tom Milton tries to keep her calm and provides a strong defense against the accusations. Back in past, as Kaya grows older, she develops a passion for drawing the shells and other objects she finds in the marsh. With the help of an older Tate, who has returned to town, she learns to read and write, improving her ability to document her discoveries. Tate encourages her to share her work with publishers, and the two become closer over time. They share personal stories and eventually fall in love. However, when they almost consummate their relationship by the river, Tate backs out, fearing he might ruin Kaya's life. Despite his reservations, Tate helps Kaya understand and appreciate love and connection. Days passed. Tate's acceptance into college means he will be leaving Kaya, and she struggles with the realization that their time together is limited. In an emotional scene, Kaya allows Tate to spend one last night with her before he leaves. However, as time passes, Kaya begins to feel abandoned by Tate and becomes resentful of him. Following that, in 1965, Kaya meets Chase near the water, and they develop a relationship. They become intimate, but Kaya finds the experience unsatisfying. Kaya gives Chase a seashell necklace as a gift, and it becomes a piece of evidence in the court case after it is not found on Chase's body when he is discovered dead in the same tower, where they had been intimate. Kaya also has to face the threat of developers attempting to take her home, but she sends her drawings and writings to publishers and eventually publishes a book about her seashell and feather collections. The publication earns her some money, which allows her to renovate and maintain her house. Kaya is visited by Jody, who has enlisted in the army and found Kaya after reading her book. Jody reveals that their mother had attempted to reunite with her children, but their father threatened to harm them if she returned, and she later died of leukemia. Jody admits that he has lost touch with their other siblings and wouldn't recognize them if he saw them. After a few years, Tate returns from college and overhears Chase speaking inappropriately about Kaya. They nearly come to blows until Jimmy intervenes. Later, Tate tries to visit Kaya, but she reacts with anger and throws rocks at him until he apologizes and explains his absence. They reconcile, and Kaya finds out that Chase is engaged to another woman. Despite this, she invites him to her home, where he confronts her after a bad encounter at a local shop. Chase tries to beat Kaya, and when she fights back, he attempts to rape her. Kaya hits him with a rock and screams that she will kill him if he comes near her again, and a witness hears her. When Kaya returns home, she finds that Chase has already trashed her house. These events will be brought up later in court as part of a murder trial. As the trial continues, Kaya's fate hangs in the balance. The case seems to hinge on whether or not Kaya had a motive to kill Chase. The fact that she was invited to dinner with publishers on the same day as the murder is brought up in court. Tom argues that if Kaya had intended to kill Chase, she would not have gone to the dinner, knowing that it would make her a suspect. He also points out that the hotel where Kaya stayed was close to the bus station, but there was no evidence that she had left the hotel that night. As the trial draws to a close, Tom and the Andrews lawyer deliver their final statements. The only people in the courtroom to support Kaya are Tate, Jody, and the Madisons. In her cell, Kaya talks to Tom and tells him that despite the town's cruelty towards her, she never held any bad feelings towards them. She also reveals that she remembers Tom from her childhood and that he was one of the few people who showed her kindness. Finally, after a long and difficult trial, a verdict is reached, and the jury finds Kaya not guilty of Chase's death due to lack of sufficient evidence. Despite the disappointment of the Andrews family, Kaya's supporters are overjoyed and cheer for her, including Tate, Jody, and the Madisons. The judge even offers his apologies to Kaya for the unfounded accusations against her. As Kaya leaves the courthouse, she feels a mix of emotions, relief, joy, and sadness for all that she has lost. However, she knows that she can finally start a new chapter in her life without the weight of this terrible trial hanging over. Kaya and Tate's relationship continues to flourish, and they consider themselves married. Over the years, they have a family, and Kaya becomes a successful writer, producing more books. When Jimmy passes away, Kaya and Tate attend his funeral together. As they grow old, Kaya ultimately passes away. In her final moments, she takes her boat out into the marsh, and it seems that she sees the spirit of her mother, who appears to be welcoming her into the afterlife. After Kaya's passing, Tate discovers a book among her belongings that contains a poem in which Kaya writes that sometimes the predator must die for the prey to survive. The book also includes a drawing of Chase and the seashell necklace, which is stained with his blood, confirming that Kaya did indeed kill him. To protect Kaya's reputation and legacy, Tate throws the seashell into the marsh. Thank you for watching, guys. If you love movie recaps, please subscribe to this channel and keep watching. Bye.